so hot in my room right now, and it's not even summer yet, and it's so hot, and it's like 11 o'clock at night. Hello, welcome to a YouTube video that I'm making. First time making one of these. Exciting, I know, but hold your horses because it's probably not going to be that extravagant. I wanted to go over a bunch of predictions that I have for the new movie coming out 1 week from now, 1 week from when I'm recording this at least, Five Nights at Freddy's 2. I have been a fan of the Five Nights at Freddy's franchise for most of my life, over a decade, easily over a decade. Specifically the second game has always been held a special place in my heart, probably, in my opinion, objectively the best game in this series. Not my favourite, my favourite's Pizzeria Simulator, but FNAF 2 is probably second. Point is, I have a lot of thoughts and feelings about this franchise and this game in particular that they're adapting into a movie now. And so before the movie came out, I wanted to go over a bunch of hopes and thoughts and theories and predictions that I have. I was actually going to make this video months ago. I've had the idea for this video in my brain for a long time now, since probably the first trailer dropped, but I wanted to wait until the second trailer came out, just in case that changed any of my opinion. This bingo card that I'm going to show you soon has been through many variations. This is maybe the 5th variation. The first one was way different, but I wanted to wait until the second trailer came out just so I knew I had all this, as much information as I could to base my predictions on, so I didn't seem like an idiot if any of my early ones turned out to be totally wrong. Then the second trailer kept not coming out, and then it finally did come out, and I just put off making this video for another couple weeks. And now we're a week until the movie releases, and if I don't make this video right now, I'm not gonna get it made. And then when all of my predictions turn out to be right, I won't be able to brag about it because no one will believe me. I'll be like, hey, I guessed that, and everyone will be like, no you didn't, Maria. You're just saying that, but I did. So I want it on paper, on the internet, before the movie comes out, so that when I turn out to be right, everyone will be like, wow, you're so smart, Maria, you got that right. I'll be like, yeah, I did get that right. It's my second attempt at filming this video, because I originally filmed it a couple days ago, but it was a mess. My recording setup was even worse than this one, because I was sitting on the floor, and I kept yammering and talking quite fast because I was nervous, despite the fact that I talk to myself all the time. I'm always talking to myself, muttering under my breath, and I also did drama all through high school. So you think I would be used to just talking at someone, monologuing for a while, but I don't know. This one's gonna go a lot smoother, I hope. I don't know if I'll end up actually posting this video. I guess it depends. Depends what's stronger out of my my crippling fear of being perceived on the internet versus my intense hyperfixation on Five Nights at Freddy's. If you're watching this, it means the hyperfixation one, so hooray! Maybe I'll make more in the future. That's not a promise, but once I've got one out there, maybe I could do another. Starting off, we have our free space. Now, I was gonna write something witty on this, related to the film or the franchise. Sorry, I keep glancing over there. There's a bug on my wall. I was gonna write something witty related to the movie, but then I couldn't think of anything. So this is just run-of-the-mill free space. My next prediction, I feel like this is another pretty much a given one. I think we're all expecting this. It's Been So Long by the Living Tombstone plays in the end credits of this movie. They really set a precedent with playing the Living Tombstone's original FNAF 1 song in the end credits of that movie. They can't not do it for this one now. It's just everyone's expecting it. It's gonna be a disappointment if they don't. It would be cool for them to maybe do a thing where they feature different fan songs from different artists for each movie. That could be fun. But also, It's Been So Long is just the most iconic FNAF 2 song. Don't get me wrong, there are a lot of really talented music artists in this fandom. There are a lot of really good FNAF 2 songs, but none of them have been quite as culturally significant as It's Been So Long. This is the FNAF 2 song. This is the man behind the slaughter song. People who don't know FNAF know this song. There are so many other FNAF 2 songs that I love. Five More Nights by JT Music, would be thrilled if that was in the credits, but they're just not as impactful and iconic as it's been so long. And as I say, they played a Living Tombstone song in the first movie, and so I feel like they've kind of set precedent now. So I'm fully expecting this song to be in the end credits of Five Nights at Freddy's 2. I'm putting these up here arbitrarily, by the way. I'm just kind of like placing them around wherever. My next prediction I feel like is another pretty safe bet. That is Balloon Boy steals some flashlight batteries. This is one of quite a few predictions that are going to be on this bingo card that are kind of just like features from the game that I just want to see adapted into movie form. Just things that happen within the game of Five Nights at Freddy's 2 that I feel like will make for like a fun reference in the movie. Balloon Boy stealing batteries, obviously he does this in the game if he gets into your room. I can envision a scene where Mike Schmidt is standing and Balloon Boy's taking the batteries from his flashlight, but Mike's ultimately like, what's this thing gonna do? It just steals my batteries? That's not scary. It's not gonna attack me or anything. And then as he's saying this, the camera pans up to reveal Withered Foxy standing behind him. Balloon Boy is gonna steal some batteries at some point in this film. It'll happen. My next prediction is very much in the same vein. That is Toy Chica takes off her beak. Toy Chica takes off her beak. I really want this to happen. I'm a big fan of Toy Chica. Not in that way. I think she's really cute, and I also think she's really scary. And I think she's very kind of sadistic and creepy. And I noticed that in all the marketing for this film, and they've done quite a lot of marketing, one thing that they have not revealed is Toy Chica without her beak. On every poster, every clip, every teaser with Toy Chica in it, she has had her beak on, her eyes, normal, which means that she's either not going to take her beak off, or they are really, really saving it for the reveal in the movie. And I think there's going to be a really intense scene where we see Toy Chica without her beak. It's going to be really scary, and it's going to be really great. And I'm really hyped for that. I think that Charlie and Vanessa are going to be revealed to have been childhood friends. They were going to be little besties as kids, and then Charlie's going to die horrifically, and it's going to be tragic and devastating. Maybe Vanessa even had something to do with Charlie's death. That would be even more devastating. I feel like it's implied in some of the teaser images we've had. There's that one where Vanessa's grabbing her hand. I've drawn fan art of this already. I firmly believe this is going to happen. And Charlie and Vanessa, they were besties. And it's going to be really tragic. The Bite of 87 is going to be mentioned, or ideally, what I'd like to happen is that we witness it on screen. If we did witness it, I don't think it would, probably wouldn't be The Bite of 87, because I don't think this movie takes place in 1987. But it would be an event that is clearly referencing The Bite of 87, that we're supposed to see and be like, oh, that's or a nod to The Bite of 87. There's gonna be an event where an animatronic bites someone's frontal lobe off. This is the original FNAF mystery. The Bite of 87 is something that's mentioned in FNAF 1, and that we have had basically no information about since then, and that was, 11 years ago? But we know that it happens in the FNAF 2 location, so maybe 11 years later, the FNAF 2 movie reveals what the deal with this is. That would be crazy. But if it doesn't happen on screen, then I at least like a mention of The Bite of 87. It's also just an iconic meme for the fan base. Was that The Bite of 87? They should say that. I think that William Afton is only going to appear in flashbacks. This is going to sound really disappointing to some people, but I firmly believe that William Afton, Springtrap, Spring Bonnie, the Yellow Rabbit, is only going to appear in flashbacks and dream sequences and hallucinations, maybe. But I don't think that Matthew Lillard, William Afton, is going to be there in person, in the present, interacting with all the other characters and the events of this movie. I think he's going to be a very important character. He's going to be relevant. I think his actions are going to be haunting the narrative of this film. Trauma he's instilled in Vanessa is going to be a big central focus of this movie, but I don't think that he's actually going to appear in person, because I think that they are going to save the reveal of Springtrap proper for the third movie. Bringing him back right away, like that in this movie as the antagonist again, feels too quick. They need to let him marinate for a bit. He's only going to appear in flashbacks here, and then he's going to get his proper return in the next movie. The Freddy mask does not work on Foxy. Foxy sees through the Freddy mask. There's going to be a scene, this is pretty straightforward, once again another one like Balloon Boy and Toy Chica's Big, where it's just a thing from the games I want to see in the movie. There's going to be a scene where Mike is wearing the Freddy head and it works on all the other animatronics. It does not work on Foxy. I want morally grey Henry. I want Henry Emily to be, maybe morally grey is not the right word, but morally questionable. Like, I don't think he's a bad person. I think he's gonna be a good guy. I think he's a good person. I think they can trust him. But I want him to be, like, really suspicious, you know? I want him to do some fucked up, questionable shit. Because I feel like this fandom has a big idea of Henry being this, like, pure patron of goodness, the heroic, has never done anything wrong antithesis to William's pure evil. And I think that's boring. I think that's a really boring interpretation of Henry's character. Like, as I say, I think he's a good guy, but I also think that he does some really questionable stuff. He is trustworthy, but I want the audience to question that. I want the movie to tell us, hey, you can trust this guy. Hey, Mike and Vanessa can trust this guy. But I want us to go, can they? The point is, I don't want Henry to just be like, perfect angel of goodness, the best guy ever who's never done anything wrong and his whole life fell apart for no reason. I think there's going to be an exposition flashback to Charlie being murdered. I think we are going to get a live action recreation of the Take Cake to the Children minigame or the Security Puppet minigame. Maybe even not live action, maybe even like the 8-bit style, you know, at the start of the first movie, how we see in like the 8-bit style, William leading all the missing kids away. That would be really cool. JJ cameo! JJ's gonna make a cameo. I really want her to have a cameo. I quite like JJ. I've always kind of liked JJ. And I think it would be fun if she made a cameo in the movie. She doesn't have to be an important character. I'm not saying make her an important animatronic, just like in the background of one scene, you look under the desk and she's there, and it's like blink if you miss it, much like in the games. I just think that would be really cool, and I think it has a pretty good chance of happening. Again, this is just like an Easter egg from the game that I want to see put into the movie as like a little nod to fans, like, hey, you know JJ, you know how JJ's under the desk? And we're like, oh my god, yes, I do know how JJ's under the desk. I know JJ. There's gonna be a joke about Mangle's gender. Mike is gonna go, is that one a boy or a girl? And Vanessa is gonna go, yes. This one is gonna sound like kind of a cop-out, knowing things that we know now, as of recently, because of recent accidental official leaks. But I swear to you, I have had this theory for months. This has been on my bingo card for ages now. I guessed I guessed that exactly ages ago. But I didn't want to tell anyone because I thought it was too far-fetched. A few friends I did tell were like, I don't know about that one, but who's laughing now? Who was fucking right? It was me. Vanessa's secret sibling reveal. Vanessa is gonna be revealed to have a sibling. Vanessa is not the only Afton child running around this world, and I know exactly who the other one is gonna be. If you don't know, I won't spoil it for you, but if you do know, I guessed that months ago. I was fucking right. Okay, Fredbear, you're gonna have to move your arm a little bit. Henry, Emily, Deus Ex Machina. I think that they are gonna go to Henry's house and he's gonna explain to them his whole sad, tragic backstory, and Mike's gonna go, wow, that really sucks. I'm really sorry that happened to you. We need your help in defeating the toy animatronics now. And Henry's gonna go, no, I can't return to that place. And Mike's gonna go, okay, and he's gonna leave. And then everyone's gonna go and fight the toy animatronics, and they're gonna be losing, and they're gonna be about to die. And then who shows up? Henry Emily with a steel chair. Yeah, I think he's just gonna show up and kick ass at the climax of the movie. This is maybe my favorite prediction. I think it would just be really funny if this happened. I think that the puppet is gonna be targeting Vanessa specifically. All of the shots where the marionette does appear, it's always in the presence of, it's like lurking behind Vanessa. This could play into the other theory I suggested where is it? When I was talking about this one, Charlie and Vanessa childhood friends, where that Vanessa maybe was involved in Charlie's death somehow, or otherwise Vanessa being an Afton, maybe Charlie just like holds it against her because of what her dad did. I think that the puppet is going to be out for Vanessa's blood specifically. And I think that Vanessa's going to be really emotional about that because that was her friend. Much in the same vein as JJ cameo, I think RWQFSAFSSXC Shadow Bonnie is gonna get a cameo in this movie as well. Again, doesn't have to be an important character, not someone you draw attention to, just in the background of like one shot. Just ominous, shadowy Toy Bonnie silhouette standing in the corner of the office, and then me and all the other fans in the theater are going, oh my god, that's Shadow Bonnie! That's RWQ! I don't have a cameo prediction for Endo 02, frankly, because I don't think Endo 02 is like as interesting as the other two. But Endo 02 did get a Funko Pop recently, so. The song My Grandfather's Clock is going to play at points in this film. My Grandfather's Clock is the name of the Puppet's Music Box song. You know, the one that's like do-do-do-do-do-do-do. That one is called My Grandfather's Clock. Now this one might seem like kind of a cop-out. Yeah, Maria, obviously they're going to play My Grandfather's Clock. It's been in all the advertising and all the trailers. It's the Puppet Music Box song. It is like core to that character. And like, yeah, so maybe that is a bit of a cop-out prediction, and I shouldn't have it on my bingo card because it's kind of a given. But also, they didn't play Toreador March in the first film, despite it being the Freddy song, the FNAF song, and using it in all the marketing. So it's not outside of the realm of possibility that they don't have this song in the film. I think it would be stupid if they didn't. And I think they will. But they didn't do it in the first film, so. Do I want there to be Toy Chica fan service? No. Do I think there's a chance that there could be? Unfortunately. I really like Toy Chica. I am a big fan of Toy Chica, as you can tell, but not in that way. And I think it is genuinely really sad that such a cool looking and scary character has pretty much been reduced to nothing but a Goonabait joke character. I think it's gross. I think it's misogynistic, but that's a conversation for another video. The point is, I don't like the way the internet treats Toy Chica. Toy Chica, I am so sorry for what the internet has done to you. I really hope there's not Toy Chica fan service, but I fear there might be. And if there has to be, I hope it's only like 1 or 2 scenes. I hope it's not her entire character. Not only would I feel bad for Toy Chica, I would feel bad for Megan Fox, because I think Megan Fox is a very talented actress, and I think it is unfair to cast her in roles just because they're sexy. I think that's gross. I think she will do really well as this character, assuming the directors don't fuck it up. Markiplier cameo. I think we all want this. I think all of us are at least expecting this. But I have been talking to my friend who listens to the Distractable podcast, and he seems very against this prediction because apparently Markiplier has been very, very, very busy with Iron Lung, which is totally understandable, and also another movie that I'm very much excited for. But if he's not in this film, he has to be in the third one. Okay, they can't make a Five Nights at Freddy's movie franchise and not put the king of Five Nights at Freddy's in it. He's got to be in at least one of them, and if it's not this one, it has to be the third one. He might not be in this one, but I'm putting it on the board anyway. Jeremy Fitzgerald is going to be a character in this film. You know, Jeremy Fitzgerald, the guy who plays in the second movie, he's gonna be here. The reason I've just written his name and not cameo like I have with JJ or RXQ, that guy, is because unlike them, who I just like are expecting like a little Easter egg, a little cameo, I think Jeremy is gonna be like a character, like a proper named character that has a storyline. I don't know how important he's gonna be. Maybe he's just a side character, but I think he's gonna be there, like as part of the story. Specifically, I'm kind of convinced on the idea that Theodis Crane's character Jeremiah from the first film is Jeremy Fitzgerald. Jeremy, and he said he's going to have a bigger role in this film. Makes sense to me. I also saw people, more so a few months ago, I feel like people don't really think this anymore, but a few months ago I saw people like, quite a lot of people thinking that Freddie Carter's character was going to be Jeremy Fitzgerald, but I have other theories about him. Jeremy Fitzgerald is going to be here, and frankly, I'm quite excited for that, because this is, as I say, protagonist of the second game. We know nothing about him. We've never known anything about this guy. He's a character who any perception of him that exists is entirely fanon, and has been for over a decade now. So the idea that we might get like actual characterization for Faceless Protagonist number 2, that's crazy to me. Yeah, he can go at the top. Post-credit scene teaser for the third movie. I think there is, I'm pretty sure about this, there's going to be a post-credit scene that is teasing Springtrap. I saw someone on Tumblr even suggest that it would be like maybe a recreation of the, the I'm Still Here image. That would be really cool. They didn't have a post-credit teaser scene in the first movie. They had the Puppets music box song play during the credits, which did act as sort of a teaser, but they didn't have like a proper scene about it. I think maybe because they, at that point, weren't quite sure how well the film would do, and if a second film would even get greenlit, and they didn't want to, like, leave us on a cliffhanger or tease something that didn't end up ultimately happening. But because of how well the first film did, I think they're going to be a lot more confident in like properly teasing a third movie in this one. The first movie did very well. This one is on track to also doing very well. And I mean, at this point, you can't not do a third one. If the third one doesn't get greenlit, I'll be on the news. Fredbear's Family Diner is mentioned. We don't see this in FNAF 2, we see this in FNAF 4. The first time we hear mention of Fredbear's Family Diner is in Five Nights at Freddy's 2. It's one of the phone calls in Five Nights at Freddy's 2. I'm not saying they have to go to Fredbear's Family Diner, I'm not saying it has to be relevant, just like one mention of like, oh yeah, there was another restaurant before Freddy's, called Fredbear's. Oh my god. It would also give more context, I think, to the Golden Freddy suit and to the Yellow Rabbit suit, where they came from, because they're not Freddy's characters. What characters are they? Where are they from? They're from Fredbear's. They're from Fredbear's. Ultimately, I am actually not sure on this one. I would go crazy if they mentioned Fredbear's, but ultimately, I'm not sure if they will. They might have changed the lore a lot. Obviously they have changed the lore, which I'm actually really excited. A lot of people are like, the lore is different from the games. Yeah, of course it does. Of course it is. You can't adapt 6 games worth of obscure lore into a movie series. I'm excited about the changes a lot. I think it's really interesting what they're doing. But I think one of those changes might be that they've just cut Fredbear's Family Diner, because they do refer to, in the trailers for this movie, the FNAF 2 location as being the original location, whereas in FNAF 2, the game, Film Guy says like the original location was Fredbear's. So they might have just changed it entirely so that like, I guess like maybe they combined Fredbear's in the FNAF 2 location. So maybe they won't mention Fredbear's Family Diner, but I want them to. I like Fredbear's Family Diner. This one's gonna be really disappointing for a lot of people, but Garrett is not relevant. You know Garrett Schmidt, Mike's little brother, the one who was kidnapped and murdered by William Afton, and that's kind of the driving force of Mike's character in the first movie. He's not going to be important in this one. I think they're going to mention him. I think they can mention him a couple times, but ultimately I don't think Garrett or his death is going to impact the story of this movie very much or at all. I think for a while after the first movie came out, we all kind of thought that Garrett was going to be possessing the puppet, which would have been cool, but clearly they're not going in that direction. So Garrett's not going to be relevant in this movie, but honestly I don't think he should be. Like, don't get me wrong, I definitely want to see more of Garrett. I don't want him to be completely fridged. I want them to do more with his character. I want to find out what happened to him after he was kidnapped. Is his spirit anywhere? Is he possessing something? But not in this movie. This movie already has so much going on. There is a lot happening in this movie already, alright? In terms of story, in terms of characters, you have the original quartet from the first movie, you know, Mike, Vanessa, Abby, William. Then you also have Charlie and Henry in this movie. Freddie Carter's character seems like he's going to be very important. Jeremiah, as I said before, is having a bigger role in this movie, apparently. You also have McKenna Grace's character and her friend. I forget their names. I don't know how important they're going to be, but they're going to do something. And on top of all the human characters, you also have loads of animatronics. You have all the toy animatronics, plus the puppet, plus all the wizard animatronics. That's a lot of characters. There's so much going on in this movie. I already don't know how they're going to balance it. And I just think that, like, also trying to fit in a storyline about Garrett Schmidt on top of all of that other stuff, I think the very fine-tuned card castle that they are building is just going to collapse if they stop trying to squeeze Garrett into this more. So I don't think Garrett's going to be relevant in this movie, but I think that Garrett's storyline is going to make a comeback, I think, in the next movie. I think that the third movie is going to wrap back around to being focused on Garrett. In my head, the plot of the third movie is that Abby's going to be looking into the mysteries of Freddy's and what happened to her older brother Garrett. I shouldn't be making predictions about the third movie before I've even seen the second one. I think that Garrett, I don't want Garrett, they could just fridge him. They could just fridge Garrett and forget about him and not elaborate on him at all. I really don't want them to, and I think he should come back in the third movie. But the point is, I don't think he's going to be relevant in this one. Only 2 spots left, and they're probably the 2 least likely things to happen that I have on this board. The first one here. Originally, I had a prediction for Mike Vanessa romantic subplot. But that one felt like such a cop-out. Yeah, obviously that's gonna happen. We all know that. I think there's even official material saying that they're in a situationship. Obviously there's gonna be a Mike and Vanessa romantic subplot. How they handle that? I don't know, I've got mixed feelings about it. I'm hopeful, but we'll have to see. But keeping it on the bingo card just felt like, no one's giving me applause for guessing that there's gonna be a Mike Vanessa romantic subplot. Fucking obviously, of course there's gonna be. So I took it off the bingo board, and instead I replaced it with this one. 5 a.m. at Freddy's reference. I don't know if they will do that. I would love it if they did, and I think we all would love it if there was a reference to 5 a.m. at Freddy's, the prequel, to be specific. I think they could just, like, reference it. Like, they don't have to recreate the whole video, just, like, one line. I'll go, oh my god, that's from the funny video. You know? I don't think the wizard animatronics are gonna talk. That would be weird. So I don't think we're gonna get Foxy saying it be the night guard. I could imagine Toy Bonnie, who is voiced by Matt Pat, saying, pretty sure that's Freddy, in reference to Mike wearing the Freddy head. It could happen. I don't think this one is impossible. I think it's unlikely. I don't think they will do this. But I don't think it's impossible. 5 a.m. at Freddy's is very culturally important to this fan base. Is it a thing that happens in the actual games? No. But it is absolutely iconic piece of fandom history, this video. And so I think they could reference it. I don't think they have to. I don't know if they will. But I would be really excited if they did. And I think a lot of people would kind of freak out if they did. And finally, for my final prediction on this bingo card, I have the song London Bridge is Falling Down plays. Now, if you're not as, like, insane about this franchise as I am, or maybe you're a newer fan, maybe you don't know what this is referring to. Why would London Bridge Falling Down? What does that have to do with Five Nights at Freddy's? I'm thinking that maybe this song isn't as iconic to the series as I want it to be, as I think that it is. I remember I showed my bingo board to a bunch of my friends a while ago, and they didn't know what this one, didn't know what this was referring to. But those of us who do know, and if this played in the film, that would be terrifying, and it would be so good. I would lose my mind if they played London Bridges Falling Down, personally. If you don't know, in the original trailer for Five Nights at Freddy's 2, the original gameplay trailer, 11 years ago for the game Five Nights at Freddy's 2, included a shot of the camera panning slowly across the wall to reveal withered Bonnie slumped against the wall, while a very eerie cover of London Bridges Falling Down played in the background. And that track has, like, cemented itself in my brain my whole life. It's so scary. Go watch it. It's a really creepy track to play. And as I say, maybe this isn't as iconic to the history of this fandom as I want it to be. But for those of us who were instilled such a deep fear by this as a child, if it played in the film, I just think that would be really, really cool. I would be really excited. I think they should do it. I don't know if they will, but I would be really hyped if they did. So that concludes my bingo board. Feel free to steal it if you want to use my predictions on your own bingo card. If you have any predictions that you think are going to happen that I don't have on here, leave them in the comments, I guess. Tell me what you think. Tell me if you think any of mine are horrifically wrong. This video is either going to age really well, and I'm going to look like an absolute genius, and all of these are going to be correct, or this video is going to age terribly, and none of these are going to be correct, and I'm going to look like an idiot. And then everyone will point and laugh at me. Well, in that case, I'll just take this video down while But I think they're all going to turn out to be correct, because obviously I'm right about everything. I don't really know how to end a YouTube video. I've never done this before. If this video does well, or even if it doesn't do well and I just get bored and want to make another one, then maybe I'll make another one. Maybe I'll make one for the third movie when we learn more, when that gets closer to release in a couple years. I have other ideas for FNAF videos. I like making slideshows and, like, lists of things about this franchise. Maybe I guess you one of them. I've got one where I give Pokemon teams to a bunch of characters. I've got one where I say which drink I think every animatronic would order at a bar. Just, like, random things like that. Maybe I could even make some good videos. That would be crazy. But until then, I guess just, thanks for watching. Sorry this is kind of a mess. As I say, I've never filmed one of these before, so I don't really know what I'm doing. I just wanted to talk about Five Nights at Freddy's. Bye, I guess.